Coming up on Safety and Awareness Today.
We're talking about fingerprinting and the benefits of fingerprinting.
In the case of an incident, the parent can forward this information to local law enforcement.
Plus, we'll be talking about rock climbing.
It's a very safe sport. I think that's a misconception by a lot of people, that it's some kind of daredevil sport.
Plus, we'll take you on a hot air balloon flight.
Safety and Awareness Today, brought to you in part by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Right now, we're going to cover a piece of safety and awareness information for parents and your sons and daughters. We have a group of boys and girls with us today, and I'm fortunate to be here with Officer Yaxall. It's a pleasure, sir, to be with you today. Yes, excellent. And we're talking about fingerprinting and the benefits of fingerprinting. What are some of the benefits?
Well, some of the benefits of fingerprinting your children are that after the children are fingerprinted, the parents will have opportunity to keep their fingerprints on hand at their residence, along with numerous physical descriptors of their child. In the case of an incident, the parent can forward this information to local law enforcement and aid in the recovery of their missing child.
All right, and you know, this little packet is a well-informed structure on information regarding your child. It's good to have available. And especially in a situation like that, when your child is missing, maybe nothing has happened that's serious, they're missing, and you're upset and you're nervous, trying to recall all the details, trying to come up with a picture. If you've done this,
correct,
you have made a big difference in possibly minimizing the amount of time it takes to find that child.
Absolutely.
Now, we talked about some statistics a little while ago. Basically, how many children are missing in this country?
On average, about 800,000 children become missing each year.
Each year, 800,000 children each year. And out of that amount of missing children, how many parents have taken the precaution to have one of these packets available?
Statistics show about 2% of the parents provide information on their children.
2%. This is worth doing. This makes a difference. And one of my understandings is fingerprints don't change?
Correct. From the age 7 months, your fingerprints are developed. The only thing that changes is the growth size of the individual's fingers.
So the little swirls, the arcs?
Yep, the loops, whirls, ridges, the arches, they all remain the same.
Just like we watch on television with CSI shows and stuff, those fingerprints are yours forever.
Correct. 80 years of fingerprint analysis, no two fingerprints have been identical.
Have been identical. Excellent. Now, we're going to do some fingerprinting right now. We have somebody we're going to bring up and see what it's like. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Curie, come on up here. Come on up here. We're going to have your fingerprints done.
Hi, Carrie. How are you?
Yeah. What's she got to do here?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to start with her right hand. If she wants to pull her sleeves up a little bit, that way we keep the ink off her clothing.
And then we're going to put the handcuffs on. And no, we're not going to do that. Gary, you look worried.
Okay, what I want you to do is just relax your hands, okay? I'll do all the work for you. We'll start with your right thumb.
Right thumb. Going to roll her thumb in the ink. Now, as we're doing this, this is one method of doing fingerprints. Now, I understand there's another growing method.
Correct. It's called live scan. What essentially live scan is just a normal scanner. Okay, the individual places their hand or each finger on the scanner, and the scanner actually takes your fingerprint off the scanner, inkless.
Oh, really? Without any ink? All right, and these are Curie's fingerprints. Are you smiling? Wonderful. Well, Officer Yaxall, thank you so very much. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure.
We're going to move on right now to a short break and then come back with more.
Coming up on Safety and Awareness Today.
Who wrote the TV show and wanted us to cover rock climbing? I want to know your name.
We're going to talk about contracting and home improvements. And it's 6 in the morning, and that's your wake-up call. Let's go outside and talk to Joe Bradley. Let's talk about construction and improving your home. That's a major thing, and it's a year-round thing that goes on. There's a lot of safety factors involved in it, but more importantly, there's some things people need to be aware of. They need to be aware that they're going to be what?
They're going to be dislocated from their home while we're doing the renovation work, depending on the type of work we're doing. They may actually have to move out.
All right. And some people just aren't ready for that. They aren't ready for the mess either.
No, they're not ready for the dust and dirt and the mess that we constantly make.
Yep. And I've watched your crews, and they clean up every single day before they leave. They vacuum every day, but it doesn't change the fact that it goes into everything.
It goes everywhere.
Yep. As far as safety factors, they wear helmets like this one.
Yep, hard hats.
Okay, hard hats. And these are safety glasses. These are
glasses.
Those are really nice, and they wear those, and that makes a big difference regarding sawing, hammering. Even when you're hammering a nail, fragments come off.
They have to be constantly changing them because the dust affects them.
Okay.
Scratches the lenses, and after 2 or 3 days, they can't see.
Now, one of the other things I looked into is insurance, and I think that's one of the biggest things that contractors have to deal with is insurance coverage. If you're going to have somebody do a job, though, they really should be insured.
They have to have liability insurance and workman's compensation.
Excellent. Thank you for your time today on the show. All right, I've got my climbing shoes, and right now I'm at Moss Island, and we're going to talk to Andy Gilpin about rock climbing.
For the past 12 years, I've been climbing, and I own an indoor rock climbing gym in Schenectady, and I'm also an outdoor guide, licensed New York guide.
That's wonderful. Now, rock climbing, there's a lot of safety factors to it. People like to do it. I mean, I've talked to people, and we're about to do a little bit of it. But some of the safety factors, what kind of equipment are we using?
It's a very safe sport. I think that's a misconception by a lot of people, that it's some kind of daredevil sport, but really there's a lot of safety equipment that people use to make it just as easy as bike riding or anything else like that. So we have climbing rope, which connect us from climber to belayer, the person who's holding the rope for you.
All right, now that has a give to it.
Yep, it has a dynamic nature to it, so it actually absorbs force and lets you so if the person falls, it's not a hard shock, it's actually a slow, nice, controlled fall.
All right, and then
we have harnesses. The harness is what keeps you safe because it connects you to the rope. So the harnesses are made out of webbing, they're very strong. Some ratings put it at like 10,000 pounds, something like that it can hold.
Okay. We're hooked to what? What kind
We're
of
hooked to an anchor system. At the top of the rock, we're going to do top rope climbing today. So at the top of the cliff, you construct an anchor through various rock climbing equipment, put it all together, put your climbing rope through it, and then one person climbs, another person belays.
All right. Now the little hand inserts for the cracks and stuff, what are they called?
We got different kinds of equipment. They're all usually called rock climbing pieces or pro protection. And so there are cams, which are an active piece of equipment that actually have a little spring-loaded unit to it. So you put that in, and you can clip your rope to that to keep you safe. There's also passive equipment, which is basically little stoppers and things that they call nuts that you can fit into cracks and different constrictions, and that actually is another way to keep you safe.
All right. How young do you start people?
Outdoor climbing, we usually say around 7 or 8 years old. Indoor climbing at the rock gym, we started around 5 years old.
5 years old. 5 years old. Little bitty 5-year-olds.
You'd be surprised.
Climbing up the.
You'd be
Well, there's no
surprised
fear. There's no fear. Young youth. All right. Now, as far as you wear helmet.
Yep, we have the rock climbing helmets, similar to many other kind of helmets, but they're really designed a lot for falling objects more than actually contacting your head with the rock.
All right.
They'll prevent, that kind of injury, but it also it's very good for things that fall on top of you.
Coming down.
Yeah.
When we talk about this, is when people get into rock climbing, is there an organization, a national organization for certification or for membership that assists them or makes it more fun to get with groups?
Yeah, there's a few organizations that are out there. Most of them are pretty grassroots right now. There's a few national organizations that people can belong to. One of them, a great one, is called Access Fund. And Access Fund is it's a nonprofit group that allows climbers to contribute money or time or effort to keep climbing areas open for everybody.
All right.
But also extends out a lot of safety requirements and things like that
All
too.
right. Now, as we climb, as I'm going up, you're securing me at the bottom. I'm climbing up, and it's secured at the top.
Yes.
Heavily secured at the top.
Exactly.
Very heavily secured at the top. This is good.
Yeah.
And so I'm going up and maneuvering myself with security at the top, and you really guiding. If I do lose that, you're guiding the fact that I'm not going to fall away all the way to the ground. I'm just going to swing out, and you're going to be able to stabilize me.
Yeah, with the top rope climbing, the rope actually goes up to the top of the anchor at the top of the cliff and then back down to you. So the distance you fall will only be the rope stretch.
Okay.
So it won't be that much.
Interesting.
Yeah. Actually, you probably won't be putting equipment in as you go up. The rope will already be up there for you.
Okay. So it really gives people, you know, there is a very, very safe starting point for people to get involved in this.
Yeah, very much
And there
so.
are places to go. The name of your business, what is that?
It's called Electric City Rock Gym.
Electric City Rock Gym. And then what's the phone number in case anybody wanted to give a
Sure.
call?
It's 518-388-2704.
2704. Wonderful. Now, as I'm coming down, that's called what?
You can basically be lowered down, or you can also rappel down, what they call it sometimes, where you keep your feet against the wall and you're being slowly lowered. But then people can also do that with themselves. They connect themselves to the rope and can basically walk down the cliff.
All right.
Or rappel down the cliff.
So that's what that's called when you're coming down like that. Taking care of the equipment is a priority.
Very much so.
Your life depends on it, so buy good equipment. Don't skimp on it.
Yeah.
And look for somebody that's certified and it's actually skilled in doing this before you do it. It's a lot of fun for the whole family, I'm finding out today.
It definitely is.
That's excellent. And your wife does this.
She does, yeah. We've been climbing together for past 5 years now.
So it doesn't matter, men, women, boys, girls.
Anybody. Kids of all ages, we all say. So.
Kids of all ages.
That's
I
right.
like it. Excellent. Well, it's been a pleasure having you with us and being able to do some of this. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us on the show.
Thank you very much, Cliff. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right.
Coming up on Safety and Awareness Today.
We specialize in providing fantastic hot air balloon rides for the general public.
Is there any steering capabilities?
A balloon can change altitude to catch different winds going different directions at different altitudes.
Safety and Awareness Today, brought to you in part by Dr. Uniforms, more than just medical.
One of the things I'd like to be doing is hot air ballooning. And in this area, Dwight Kramer is the man to contact. So come on along with me and let's go ballooning.
Hi, I'm Dwight Kramer of Airborne Adventures Ballooning out of Munnsville, New York. We specialize in providing fantastic hot air balloon rides for the general public, morning or evening, 7 days a week, weather permitting. And as it stands right now, winds are they've been light all day. They're due to be light again tonight. And the sky is almost clear. It's just a few clouds out there, so it should be an absolutely gorgeous night.
Is.
I've got to call flight service here to get our latest updates, but right now it looks great.
And I'm glad you said that, because as a pilot, and people don't stop to think about it, you're a pilot and you have to check flight services. You're going to go into the sky. The FAA wants to know what's going on.
That's right.
All right, great. Now you set up a little balloon earlier. What was that for?
We launch what we call a pie ball. A pie ball is simply a helium balloon, and it's a 14-inch helium balloon, good sized one. And if you ever notice, if you've been to a balloon festival, most of them you'll see are black. Now a lot of people ask, why is that balloon black? Well, of all colors. Well, the reason is it's actually the most visible from a long distance.
Okay.
So we inflate it with helium, let it go, and we watch that balloon go up. And we're watching for two things, actually. We want to know what is the angle that balloon is flying out. If it's flying at a low angle, or if it's going out at a low angle, that means chances are we've got pretty strong winds still, and possibly stronger winds aloft. If it goes very straight up, that means conditions are looking really nice. We're going to have light winds when we get up above. The other thing we're checking for is the direction. Now it may, on a morning flight, it may actually go down this field here. It'll stay low, going at one direction, and then as it gets higher, as it rises up, and what it's doing when it's down low on a morning flight is it's catching the drainage winds coming down this valley.
Okay.
That's cool air that's settling into the valley and flowing northward. North happens to be down slope here. So as that wind, or as that balloon goes out initially, it may be following the drainage winds. Now as it gets up higher, it may encounter the prevailing winds, which could be 180 degrees the other direction. So when we launch that balloon, we're looking to see if we're going to get that shift that may bring us right back over
where you're going, because that tells you where you're roughly where
right.
you're going to land.
And what that's ultimately what we're looking to do. We want to know what our speed is, which directions we're going to be flying when we get up there, and generally the general direction that we're going to be going in, so we can have an approximate idea where we're going to be landing.
All right. Now, and again, because steering, is there any steering capabilities?
The way we steer, now a balloon cannot fly upwind or crosswind, but a balloon can change altitude to catch different winds going different directions at different altitudes. So maybe at one altitude I'm flying north, but as I rise up, I'll get a shift to the east. So if I am looking for a landing site to get to a landing site maybe that I've selected, I can go up or down to steer my way toward that site.
Interesting.
I've been able to fly from here. I did one evening flight. We lifted off from here and landed way off, probably 15 miles northeast of here. In the passengers I had flying with me that day, I was able to navigate and land in their backyard just by knowing where they were and using those steering winds.
Those steering winds. Now, we don't know how far we'll go today, roughly. What do you think?
I'm going to guesstimate between 5 and 10 miles based on the wind conditions.
All right. And the altitude we might reach?
On the calmer days, I tend to fly higher. Mainly because, a couple of things. On a calm day, I want to get up higher so I can get some distance. When the winds are very light, if I want to cover any ground, I need to go up higher because generally the higher you go, the faster the winds.
Yes.
Not always true, but that's generally the rule. On the days when it's very warm at the surface, let's say if it's 85, 90 degrees, nothing feels better than going up really high where you get up with maybe 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 feet where the air is dry and it's cool.
It's cool.
It's very relaxing.
Yep. I think what you do is extremely enjoyable, and I encourage people to check out places and areas. Now, your business is called
Airborne Adventures Ballooning Inc.
Airborne Adventures Ballooning Inc. All right, and we're going to talk more, but let's go ballooning.
Absolutely.
All
Sounds like a plan to me.
Coming up on Safety and Awareness Today.
On a clear day, we can see the Adirondack Mountains, the Catskills. Last night, we could see the sunset across Lake Ontario.
We're in the air. About how far off the ground are we right now?
We are currently at 2,739 feet above sea level.
Now you've got a radio, so you're keeping control or contact with the chaser car.
Right. We have just a simple two-way radio between the crew and myself, and of course, if the radios don't work, we have cell phones, and they're of course mainly following by sight. They watch us. They usually kind of hang back. Where we go is where they're going.
Yeah.
At least we hope so. We hope they'll come.
We hope they show up. Basically, as far as we can see, that's as far as people can see us, because we're sitting right up in the sky.
On a clear day, we can see the Adirondack Mountains, the Catskills, Lake Ontario. Last night, we could see the sunset across Lake Ontario. And, when we can see that far, the chances are there's somebody standing outside their house somewhere
saying, look,
50, 75 miles away saying, look, there's a balloon.
There's a balloon in the air.
It's pretty amazing.
It sure is beautiful. Now you keep the heat because actually you're keeping the temperature so that it's warmer inside the balloon than it is outside.
That's right. Currently it's reading at about almost 200 degrees, or about 199 it was showing. Okay. And we have a temperature indicator at the very top of the balloon, so it'll tell us how warm the envelope temperature is. And the reason that's important is because we have what we call a red line limit of 300 degrees. The envelope is actually made out of ripstop polyester with a special coating on it that keeps it impervious for the air to go through it. But it has a temperature limit of 300 degrees before the fabric will begin to soften.
Okay.
So, I've never had it above 230. And the cooler you can fly your balloon, generally the longer the fabric will last.
Now, to be able to pilot one of these could take, you could be training and practicing and never do a solo for 5, 7, maybe 10 years.
That's possible. It depends on what form of training you how you wish to go about it. There are schools, you can go to the Southwest, say like Park City, Utah, New Mexico, out those areas. There are schools where you can take, pardon the pun, but like a crash course in ballooning, where you'll get your commercial much faster, your commercial license much faster than you will the way I did, where I worked into a very gradual from starting out as a passenger and then becoming balloon crew for a few years.
The commercial license that you've obtained beyond the individual one allows you to instruct as well as take passengers.
That's right. We cannot take paying passengers or passengers for a fare unless we have a commercial license. You can, as a private pilot, you can carry passengers, but you can only share the expenses. You can't actually run it as a profitable business.